my Juicy Co-creators, Lilou here. I'm on the Juicy Living Tour Europe in the French Alps with Gary Zukav. Here we are again, but this time in this beautiful Alps. What a magnificent scenery. What a lovely moment here to meet and have this discussion about spiritual partnership.
It is indeed, Lilou. This is a very special place. It's the first time I've been in the French Alps. And there's a sweetness to it. You know, I love mountains. I've been in mountains most of my adult life. Yeah. I've been in the Pyrenees and the Andes and the Himalayas and the Sierra Nevada, mostly the Sierra Nevada and the Cascade Mountain Range, and now in the Alps. And these mountains have a sweetness to them. I hope that I hope that you can see behind us some of the feeling of this. And this is a gray day, so you can't see. It's a beautiful gray day, but it keeps you from seeing the magnificent summits above us. So I feel this is a wonderful place for us to meet and to speak again about authentic power and about spiritual partnerships.
Yes. This is your book. You had many New York Times bestsellers, but this is one of them, the latest one, Spiritual Partnership, The Journey to Authentic Power. What a journey you had, and how interesting life is that we meet here.
It is interesting. It is very interesting. We met at an event in Los Angeles, and then you came to visit Linda and me at our home in Ashland, Oregon, and now we are here in France after a day in Geneva to talk about the things that are most exciting to me. And by the way, congratulations on your European tour. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you. I'm so amazed by the tour and how life can really magically unfold. And here we're meeting again for the third time. This is no coincidence. I feel that like souls, souls that are living from an authentic power have this not effortless journey, but one that opens up in front of them. Is that part of experiencing our authentic power, do you think?
Yes, that's part of the experience of authentic power. But there are many experiences of creating authentic power. For example, there are times when not everything does flow just the way you want it to flow. And when that happens, if you feel, like I do sometimes, frustrated or angry or despondent or wanting things to be other than they are, that is the perfect time to create authentic power. That's the time to feel what I'm feeling. Feel it in my chest area, for example, or my solar plexus or my throat. And I say, what does that feel like? And then I say, ooh, that hurts. Oh, I didn't know it hurts so much to be frustrated or angry. I always just thought I'm frustrated, but when I put my intention inside me, I realized that's not fun. Those physical sensations are painful. And when that happens, I know that a frightened part of my personality is active. And by that I mean a part that originates in fear, not in love. Frustration does not originate in love. Superiority, inferiority, anger, rage, despair, those are not loving experiences. But the pain reminds me. So I just spoke with a beautiful person yesterday, Paulo Coelho. And he showed me so much. We talked about fear, we talked about all of these things that we're beginning to talk about. And he said, I suffer a lot. And I thought, so do I. Paulo, we're like brothers. And he wants to feel like I want to feel what it is to have pain in my body that is created by fear. In fact, when I feel pain in my body, it's pain that comes from fear. And when I feel that, I know that this is not a good time for me to act. This is not a good time for me to speak. But if I'm in a position where I must act or I must speak, then this is a time for me to put all of my attention into what my intention is and to draw from a part of my personality that's patient, that's caring, that's focused on what I want to share. For example, a car just drove by and I was thinking, that's not good for a video shoot. But I can let myself go in that direction, Or I can realize that we are here talking with your viewers about authentic power. And I love your viewers. I love you. And you are worth my effort to stay focused on creating authentic power instead of running off on something that distracted me. That's an example of powerlessness.
So how was it, because you just spoke of Paulo Coelho and you had this wonderful experience yesterday of meeting him, and you spent a lot of time with Oprah Winfrey and with some really incredible people that made things happen in their life. How would you put that in a nutshell? Their spiritual path, or do they have a similar? Do you find that we have similar callings, and what do you find the common denominator of all these people are, if there is something?
Well, first you make it sound like Oprah and I are neighbors, and we run back and forth for a cup of coffee and tea.
You met her many times.
I've been on her show many times, and I've been with her many times. And I would say that the thing that we have in common is that we both want to use our lives as constructively as we can, because we want to help people who haven't yet thought about it to consider the possibility that they are alive for a reason, and that if they're not pursuing that reason, their life will be empty. And they'll think, is this all there is? But as they begin to move in the direction of giving the gifts that they were born to give, their life begins to fill with meaning. Like yours. You know what that experience is like, because it's hard for you, but you continue to make your tours in the U.S. and now in Europe to talk to people and ask questions like you're asking. Well, I feel that's what Oprah and I and you and Paulo all have in common. See, we're not content to be distracted like I once was. I was distracted with things like sex, money, sometimes drugs, position. I want people to like me. Those are all distractions. They're not very important. They come from a powerless place.
External power, pursuit of external?
Yes, that's right. That's right. When I do something because I want people to appreciate me so that I will feel better about myself, that's the pursuit of external power. And the pursuit of external power won't take anyone now where we want to go. We want to go to harmony and cooperation and sharing and reverence for life. And those things come naturally as you begin to challenge the parts of your personality that keep you from those experiences.
A lot of people are going through this hard time right now, and it seems like there's not enough of the money, or there is the society is not cooperating, or politicians are not making the right choices. What do you really, deep in your heart, want to say to people that are in suffering and are in this loop and this kind of washing machine that is terrible?
So I would suggest that instead of looking at yourself as being in a washing machine, that you see yourself as standing in a stream, a beautiful stream. And if you've actually seen a beautiful stream like this, picture that one. But if you haven't, picture in your imagination a beautiful clear stream, not too wide, it's shallow, maybe it's up to your ankles, and you're standing on some rocks, and you're looking at the water. The water is flowing away from you. And as you look straight down, the water continues to flow. And to flow away from you. And if you look down again, it's doing the same thing. And you look up, and you look at the trees, and you look down, the water's still flowing. Now, your life is like that. As you look down, that is the present moment. There's always something moving through the present moment. See, a car just drove by. That was in the present moment. I'm talking with you, but you're going to leave later on for somewhere else. And I'm going to be with some friends. That'll be the present moment. You can see what has already been under you. It's flowing away from you. I had cancer. I had a divorce. I didn't, but many people have. I've had other things in my life that have been very painful, but they're in the past. They're flowing away now. I can't see what's coming. That's the water behind me. But when I look down, I see exactly where I am in the water, and the water is always moving. creating authentic power is creating your ability to be that way in your life. No matter what is flowing in the present moment, it doesn't affect you. You are a powerful and creative, compassionate and loving spirit. And the flow of the water, the flow of energy, the flow of events, the flow of history through your life is something that you see, you feel. You're not a disconnected, lifeless thing. You feel it all. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't affect what you say and what you do. And after a while, as you develop this ability to experience but not be controlled by what you're experiencing, then you are developing some mastery in your life. Mm-hmm. Then you can decide what you want to do and not what external circumstances want you to do. Yeah. See, for example, maybe what's flowing through your life is you're in a hospital and the doctor says, you're very sick, you have cancer. And then suddenly you think, I'm very sick, I have cancer, I'm going to die, but what can I do next? And suddenly you're distracted from the present moment. So if you die, you die. You are going to die, by the way. So you might as well accept that right now. Mm-hmm. Most people don't. And then they wait until the very last moment, and I don't know what each of them say, but it's probably something like, my God, or not so soon, not now. Not now, I have so much to do. But I never told that person how much they mean to me. Mm-hmm. I never wrote the book I wanted to write. I never went to France. Well, if you live in the moment, then what will happen is you'll have the experience of dying, whatever that will be for you, and you'll be fully in the moment and it won't distract you. Now, can you imagine that? That would really be something to experience. I'm looking forward to that.
Part of the requirements for, or maybe not requirements, but things that you say to be in our authentic power is to be committed, is to be courageous, is to be conscious.
Exactly, and compassionate. Compassionate. I'd suggest, if you're interested in these things, I know you know about these things, but I'll tell your viewers, go to seatofthesoul.com. That's the name of a book that I wrote, The Seat of the Soul. So you go to, not the, but seat, like what you sit on, of the SOUL.com. And then click on Free Spiritual Partnership Guidelines. Mm-hmm. And you download them and read them. And there are guidelines about commitment and courage and compassion and conscious communication and action. And if you like any of those, if they draw you, experiment with them, because that's what your life is for, to experiment with. For example, what are you committed to? Are you committed to a relationship? Are you committed to getting money? Are you committed to being famous? What is your commitment? Well, I want to suggest to you that there's only one commitment that will carry you through whatever happens in your life, and that is your commitment to growing spiritually. Well, what does that mean? Does it mean I have to have crystals or learn how to chant or have a crucifix or a sculpture of Krishna? Maybe. Maybe you can be religious and still be spiritual, although the two are not the same. Spirituality means you become more aware of your emotions, aware of the sensations in your body, aware of the thoughts that you're thinking, aware of the intention that you have in the moment. And if you're aware of all of those things, you know what that means? It means you're looking right down into the water and you're watching what's flowing through the present moment. You're in it, you're feeling it, but it's not distracting you. It's beautiful. And not only that, the more you do it, you begin to see something miraculous. It has a meaning. All of it has a meaning. That's just for you.
A lot of people see signs and speak of signs, and there are signs everywhere. Can we get lost in all this?
Yes. Yes. If you look at the world as symbolic, then you see that not only is there a sign here and there's a sign there, everywhere is a sign. Everywhere is a sign. If you see something beautiful like these, like this valley in the Alps that we're in, and it's green, it's verdant, it's growing. There's cows here. They've got cowbells. Maybe you can hear them. So what does that tell you about life? It tells you that sometimes there's steep places and you have a hard climb to get where you want to go. It tells you that there's meadows with wildflowers in them, so you can relax and enjoy the sky. It tells you that there's cows, so we're sharing this earth with other forms of life. It tells you, whatever it tells you, it's illustrating something for you. If you think you're only looking to an external environment, then you're distracted again.
Mm-hmm.
You're distracted.
Mm-hmm.
You get caught up in the scenery, and you think, this scenery is so much better than being in a ghetto somewhere. Oh, it's so much better than being in a prison. Oh, it's so much better than being in a hospital room. Oh, would be so much nicer, though, if I were on the beach. Wherever you are, that's where you are. That's where your power is. That's where your meaning and your purpose is. If you are willing not to be distracted, to feel what you are feeling, not to try to deny that you're frightened, or deny that you're joyful, or deny that you're scared, or deny that you're beautiful. All of those things are in the present moment, and you can enjoy them and do what you choose, not what frightened parts of your personality do in reaction to wherever you are. Sometimes those parts feel good, sometimes those parts feel bad. You can watch it, but you don't have to act on it. Then you can create authentic power. And you do that by choosing the intentions of your soul whenever you act or you speak. And those are harmony and cooperation and sharing and reverence for life.
Mm-hmm. What is your understanding? And here we have a car again. We're in the town. This is life. This is real life happening. This is the juiciness of life too. What is your understanding of the power? Once we're in that authentic power place, what happens with the universe and our relationship to the universe, and how we're then being guided and the space we're in?
Well, we're being guided all the time. And guided doesn't mean directed. Like you might say you have a GPS. You don't have to go where the GPS tells you. You don't even have to follow its directions. Not only that, you set the direction on a GPS. Well, I'll tell you something I heard Paulo say. I'm thinking of Paulo because we just had these beautiful talks. Paulo talks about something in one of his books, The Alchemist. He says, "It is written." And there's a term for that, I think maybe in Arabic, maktub. So somebody asked him, I said, well, does that mean that you have to do what is written? That your life is predetermined, in other words? And he gave this beautiful answer. He said, what is written is your highest potential. But you don't have to do what is written. Most of us don't do what is written. All of us have gifts to give. Mm-hmm. All of us have love to share. All of us have support to share and to receive. But most of us don't. Most of us are concerned about what's happening around us, and we forget to look at the water and watch it flow and not be controlled by what's flowing. So, yes, the universe is always guiding you. It's always giving you opportunities to grow spiritually. Mm-hmm. That's how it guides you. But you don't have to take the opportunities. For example, someone says something that makes you angry, or a car drives past and you think, how can this be happening? We're here in the Alps. We're not in a town. We're really in the country. But they're repairing a road, and now the cars are driving past. And if I get caught up in that, suddenly I've forgotten where I am. Yeah. I've forgotten who I'm talking to. I've forgotten who I am. I've forgotten the important things about life, which are the gifts that we have to give. But now I can remember them again because I know how to create authentic power. And you do too, because that's what we're talking about. And you can read The Seed of the Soul. You can go to the website. You can...
There's plenty of material, and there's beautiful interviews too online. We did some previously.
Yes. And this book, Spiritual Partnership, is about creating authentic power, because spiritual partnership is partnership between equals for the purpose of spiritual growth, which is creating authentic power.
And it starts with us, doesn't it? I mean, we have to create this internal partnership before anything else.
You have to create authentic power. You have to create or be committed to creating authentic power. Because if you're not, no one can create it for you. You're always going to be angry or hoping that you look better than the next person, or have more money than you have, or whatever it is that's tormenting you. Only you can do something about that. Feel it, challenge it by not acting on it. and cultivate the loving parts of your personality. Now, when you do that, then you can become a spiritual partner. For example, there's a law, it really is a law, like a law of physics, that energy attracts like energy. So if you are committed to becoming a more emotionally aware person and making responsible choices, taking responsibility for the consequences that your choices create, you will attract that kind of person to you. If you are a person who's only concerned about looking better, having more, getting famous, you will attract that kind of person to you. So some people ask me, well, how do I get the right person? So you become the right person.
Yeah.
You're already attracting to you what you are. If you're looking for someone who's going to complete you, you're going to draw someone who's looking for you to complete them. If that's the person you want, keep doing what you're doing. If you want someone who will give you financial or emotional or psychological security or sex, you're going to attract someone who's looking for that in you. Is that what you want? If you want someone who is determined to be the best that that person can be, to give the gifts that she was born to give, that's who you're going to attract.
Mm-hmm.
So the universe is always supporting you. The miracle is ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
The signs are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You are a miracle. You are part of the sign. You are a huge sign. You are a sign that the universe itself is always moving toward greater awareness and freedom. So why not join that evolution? Mm. But it's not a matter of stepping into the river and getting carried away with it. Yes, you can do that. The river will take you to the ocean. But first you need to know how to find the river and how to enter it. And that requires finding, experiencing, and challenging the parts of your personality that come from fear, the ones that hurt, the ones that think judgmental thoughts, the ones that intend to change other people so that they themselves will feel better. And instead, and not act on them, and instead find the parts of your personality that come from love, the parts that are grateful, appreciative, patient, caring, content, and cultivate them by acting on them. Then, as you do that more and more, your fear controls you less and less, and love begins to be more and more a part of your experience and your awareness. Now you're in the river. We're all in the river. There's a very fast river flowing now, and it frightens some people. Yeah. But know that this river is going to a good place. And celebrate yourself. Celebrate. Look around and see who's in the river with you. Keep your head above the water. I'm using a lot of metaphors, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And above all, don't take yourself seriously. Don't take what happens to you personally. And strive to create with the intentions of your soul.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you for these delicious moments here in the Alps. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for this book. Thank you for this delicious moment here in the Alps. It was unexpected, and here we're meeting. And now I'm off to Switzerland because we're very, very close from Switzerland, obviously. And I wish you a wonderful journey here.
Pas de quoi, c'est mon plaisir. I am so grateful to see you again. It's a wonderful experience.
Next time we'll do it in French, huh?
Peut-être. Pourquoi pas?
I had the pourquoi pas. We're good. We're in. Thank you, Gary. Thank you so much. Much, much love, my delicious co-creators from the Alps. We send you lots of love and blessings from here. Au revoir.
and summits above us. So I feel this is a wonderful place for us to meet and to speak again about authentic power and about spiritual partnerships.
Yes, yes. This is your book. You had many New York Times bestsellers, but this is one of them, the latest one, Spiritual Partnership, The Journey to Authentic Power. What a journey you had, and how interesting life is that we meet here.
It is interesting. It is very interesting. We met at an event in Los Angeles, and then you came to visit Linda and me at our home in Ashland, Oregon, and now we are here in France after a day in Geneva to talk about the things that are most exciting to me. And by the way, congratulations on your European tour. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you, thank you. I'm so amazed by the tour and how life can really magically unfold. And here we're meeting again for the third time. This is no coincidence. I feel that, like souls, souls that are living from an authentic power have this not effortless journey, but one that opens up in front of them. Is that part of experiencing our authentic power, do you think?
Yes, that's part of the experience of authentic power. But there are many experiences of creating authentic power. For example, there are times when not everything does flow just the way you want it to flow. And when that happens, if you feel, like I do sometimes, frustrated or angry or despondent or wanting things to be other than they are, that is the perfect time to create authentic power. That's the time to feel what I'm feeling. Feel it in my chest area, for example, or my solar plexus or my throat. And I say, what does that feel like? And then I say, ooh, that hurts. Oh, I didn't know it hurts so much to be frustrated or angry. I always just thought I'm frustrated, but when I put my intention inside me, I realize that's not fun. Those physical sensations are painful. And when that happens, I know that a frightened part of my personality is active. And by that I mean a part that originates in fear, not in love.
Beautiful in this beautiful Alps. What a magnificent scenery. What a lovely moment here to meet and have this discussion about spiritual partnership.
It is indeed, Lilou. This is a very special place. It's the first time I've been in the French Alps. And there's a sweetness to it. I love mountains. I've been in mountains most of my adult life. I've been in the Pyrenees and the Andes and the Himalayas and the Sierra Nevada, mostly the Sierra Nevada and the Cascade Mountain Range, and now in the Alps. And these mountains have a sweetness to them. I hope that I hope that you can see behind us some of the feeling of this. And this is a gray day, so you can't see. It's a beautiful gray day, but it keeps you from seeing the magnificence.
Hello, my Juicy Co-Creators. Lilou here. I'm on the Juicy Living Tour Europe in the French Alps with Gary Zukav. Here we are again, but this time in this beautiful